I'm Jill Galloway. I'm an artist educator at the National Portrait Gallery. In today's Drawn to Figures lesson, we're talking about how to draw the mouth. Now the mouth can be a little tricky because there's not a whole lot of lines in the mouth, but there are a lot of values, meaning shading and colors. So we're going to start today's lesson with the very simple shapes and how to build the mouth, and then we're going to look for a light source and make some value studies. This is a very simple lesson. You don't need to have any experience. I'll walk you through every step. Okay, let's get started. All you'll need for today's lesson is a pencil, a piece of paper, and an eraser. Now the only two parts of the mouth that are attached to bone is at the base of the nose and halfway down the chin. The rest is free to move about and therefore presents millions of options. The mouth is wrapped around the muzzle, which is like half of a cylinder or a soup can. That's why when you wrap your hands around your mouth, you get a half circle shape. Your mouth is just wrapping around your jaw and teeth. Step 1 in drawing the mouth is starting with a little U shape in the middle and then adding 2 lines on the sides. Step 2, you add another U shape on the top and then connect the ends. The lips get thicker in the middle and taper at the corners. Now the thickness will vary greatly depending on each individual. Step 4 is add another U on the underside of the mouth. And step 5, add a slightly curved line running from the center of the U up to each edge. Now let's add some value to these lips. I start with 3 balls stacked up like this, sort of like cannons. The ball in the top lid divides the 2 side planes that make up the upper lid. The upper lid angles under and is usually in shadow because of that angle, but that little ball in there might catch some light. As you can see in this profile view, the top lip is usually quite angular and the bottom lip rolls out. There's almost always a shadow under the lower lip because of that rolling out. The value and shading on the lower lip will depend on your light source, but normally the side planes will always be darker than the top planes. The lower lip will also catch a highlight on top of the ball, especially if the lips are a little wet. The lower lip has 2 balls and 3 planes, the top and the 2 sides. Sometimes you'll see a small indentation in between those 2 balls making a little shadow. Be careful to not outline your lips. Instead, use values and shading to define the shift in tones. The only big line you'll see is the one that separates the lips. Also, look for a nice dark shadow in the corners of the mouth. Now there's a little muscle in the corner of your mouth and it looks like a little fold almost. This is where the mouth movement comes from. A lot of the smiling and frowning takes place because of this muscle. The portraits we featured in today's Drawn to Figures lesson were all made by Yusuf Karsh. He was easily one of the most important portrait photographers of the 20th century. Karsh opened his first studio in 1931 in Canada and then later moved to Boston. The bulk of his work is made up of 260,000 negatives and transparencies, as well as 50,000 original prints. If you'd like to see more of Yusuf Karsh's work, you can go to our website at www.mpg.edu and under Portrait Search, look up Yusuf Karsh. Thanks so much for joining me for today's Drawn to Figures lesson. I hope you learned something. Now that you know how to draw a mouth, all you really need is a mirror so you can practice on your own mouth, and we would love to see what that looks like. If you wouldn't mind posting your art with the social media hashtag MyMPG, then we can all check it out. Thanks again, and we'll see you next time.